Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to peel back the layers on something really common, a persistent source of discomfort for so many, inflammation to the stomach lining. You probably know it as gastritis.
That's right. And if you, or maybe someone you know, deals with that sort of chronic belly pain or indigestion, well, this is definitely the deep dive you need.
Yeah.
We really want to cut through, some of the confusion. There's a lot of medical folklore out there, some surprising misinformation even.
Okay.
Our goal today, just give you a completely clear, jargon-free understanding. What is this condition? Why is the usual story about causes often, well, incomplete?
And the practical stuff.
Exactly. Most importantly, what practical home-based solutions actually work. And we'll tailor those specifically to the type of stomach trouble you might be having.
Okay, let's start simple then. The stomach itself. How should we picture it?
Good starting point. Think of it less like a pouch lying down and more like a muscular sac, or maybe a bag that sort of hangs down inside your body.
Okay, a hanging bag.
Yeah. And the crucial part we're talking about today is the inner wall. It's got this protective layer, the mucous membrane. It's designed to handle really powerful stomach acid, you see.
Right.
When that inner layer gets irritated or swollen, that's inflammation. That's the gastritis we're talking about.
Got it. And you mentioned controls. Gates.
Yes, exactly. That
Yeah.
inner bag has two really important control valves, or gates, the one at the very top. Super important. It closes off the tube leading back to your throat, the esophagus.
To stop stuff coming back up.
Precisely.
Right.
If that top gate doesn't seal properly, acidic stuff can flow backward, and that gives you that awful burning feeling we call heartburn.
Okay, so top gate keeps things down. What about the bottom one?
The lower gate is like a quality control point. It holds the food and the digestive juices inside the stomach until the whole process of breaking them down is totally finished.
Makes sense.
It ensures only the properly prepared stuff moves on into the small intestine. But when inflammation hits these gates, they often spasm or just don't work right.
So what does this inflammation actually feel like? When people have gastritis, what are they usually saying?
Well, typically it's pain up in the upper belly, usually leaning a bit towards the left side.
Okay.
It gets confused a lot with pain from the pancreas, actually, because it sits nearby. You'll almost definitely notice feeling sick, nauseous. And of course, heartburn is common too.
And sometimes vomiting. Right.
Yes, sometimes vomiting can happen. But here's a really crucial distinction for listeners. In most cases of just sort of basic gastritis, there's generally no blood in the vomit.
Okay. That's important.
It really is. It's a key marker that separates this from something much more serious, like a severe perforated ulcer that would need immediate medical help, obviously.
Right. And beyond that sharp pain, it's often just that general digestive upset, isn't it? Feeling heavy, bloated, maybe diarrhea soon after eating.
Exactly. That whole picture. Now, before we jump into causes, it's good to remember this isn't just one single thing. You mentioned earlier, not all gastritis is the same. It can flare up suddenly and be severe, that's acute, or it can be this repeating, long-lasting thing that's chronic.
Okay.
But the absolute key for treatment, and this is what we really need to keep in mind when we talk about remedies later, is that stomach inflammation is categorized by acid levels.
Acid levels, okay.
Yeah. Is it high acid, normal acid, low acid, or even zero acid? That last one we call atrophic gastritis. Knowing which category you likely fall into really dictates whether you need remedies that soothe or remedies that stimulate.
Okay, right. Let's unpack the causes then. This is where it gets interesting, isn't it?
It really is.
If you've got stomach issues, most people, and maybe even some doctors, jump to one or two things. Spicy food, maybe, or that bacteria.
H. pylori.
Helicobacter pylori, yeah, it's been the dominant theory for decades.
But what does the evidence actually show? Is it the main culprit?
Well, it's definitely involved, no doubt about that, but is it the singular primary root cause that many assume? The evidence suggests probably not. Our sources reveal a really startling number of contradictions, actually. Okay, tell us more. I know there was that famous experiment.
Ah, yes, the Barry Marshall story from 1984. Compelling stuff. One of the researchers, actually drank a culture of the bacteria himself to prove his theory,
Brave. And what happened? Did he get chronic gastritis? Ulcers?
Well, he did develop inflammation, a temporary, mild form of gastritis, but critically, he did not get the chronic long-term inflammation or the ulcers he was trying to demonstrate. And later animal studies, they also failed to consistently create those chronic problems using just the bacteria alone.
Okay. And the global picture, does that back up the bacteria theory?
That's where it gets even more confusing for the H. pylori theory. Let's pause on this because it's quite striking. Our sources show that a massive 60% of the entire world's population carries H. pylori in their stomach right now.
60%, wow.
Yeah. Now, if it were the definitive cause, you'd expect 60% of us to have stomach problems, wouldn't you?
Logically, yes.
But only about 10 to 20% of those people who are infected actually develop gastritis or ulcers. That just fundamentally challenges how we usually think about stomach bugs, doesn't it?
It really does. That gap is huge.
It is. And then you have what researchers call the African enigma.
The African enigma?
Yeah. In some parts of Africa, almost 100% of the population tests positive for H. pylori. Almost everyone has it.
Okay.
Yet the prevalence, the rate of chronic stomach inflammation or ulcers in those same populations, it's reported to be less than 3%. 3%.
That makes no sense if the bacteria is the main cause.
It simply doesn't behave like the singular direct cause of chronic illness that it's often made out to be.
And there's one more piece, isn't there? About treatment.
Yes. Even for people who go through antibiotic treatment and successfully get rid of the bacteria, the inflammation often comes back.
How often?
We're talking nearly half. About 48% of people see the problem return within just 6 months.
Wow. But is the bacteria back then, too?
That's the kicker. In less than 2% of those cases where the inflammation returns, is the bacteria found again.
Okay, so eradication doesn't guarantee a cure, and the problem comes back without the bug.
Exactly. This evidence really forces us to shift our focus. While H. pylori can definitely play a role, it can contribute, the real issue seems to be the vulnerability of the stomach lining itself. Something else is making it weak.
So, if it isn't primarily the bacteria setting the stage, what are the proven major culprits? What's leaving our protective stomach lining so vulnerable?
Okay, the sources point strongly to two main factors. The first one, and maybe the most overlooked, is unresolved emotional distress or chronic stress.
Stress. We hear that a lot, but what kind are we talking about?
Not just everyday stress, deadlines or traffic. We're talking about long-term, sustained feelings. Things like ongoing anger, persistent worry, or just generalized distress. Stuff that lasts for a month or more.
Okay.
This isn't just in your head, it's profoundly physical. Long-term stress keeps your body stuck in that fight or flight mode.
Right.
And physically, that state diverts blood flow away from your digestive tract. Over time, this lack of good circulation causes the stomach lining to literally thin out, becoming incredibly fragile and susceptible to damage.
Wow. That really makes that mind-body connection concrete. Okay, so chronic stress is one major factor. What's the second?
The second is something many of us take, maybe without even thinking much about it, common medication.
Medications.
Absolutely. Particularly the regular long-term use of common drugs. Think over-the-counter and prescription pills, especially things like non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs or NSAIDs.
Like ibuprofen, naproxen.
Yeah.
Those kinds of things.
Exactly. People often take these daily for joint pain, headaches, other chronic issues. Sometimes they might even be in multiple different pills someone takes daily without realizing it.
Right.
Our sources are really clear on this. NSAID use is now seen as a leading cause of gastritis. They can leave literal, visible tracks of damage on the stomach's protective lining when used consistently over time.
That's quite a realization. Yeah. Especially perhaps for older listeners who might be relying on daily pain relief for arthritis or something.
It is. You could be taking a pill trying to fix one ache and completely unknowingly be creating this serious inflammation in your stomach.
So the path to getting better has to involve looking at these two things.
It really does. The first step towards genuine healing has to be confronting those primary causes. Finding ways to resolve or manage that long-term emotional distress, and carefully reviewing your medication usage, ideally with a professional, to minimize that potential damage.
Okay, that gives us a much clearer picture of the why. So what does this all mean for getting some relief now? We established that the right remedy depends on your acid level high, low, or even zero. Let's dive into some natural ways to soothe and heal, broken down by those categories.
Great. Let's start with a really versatile protective remedy. This one works well whether your acidity is high, normal, or even if you're just not sure. It's the flaxseed decoction.
Flaxseed. Okay, what's the idea behind it?
Its purpose is basically to create a physical coating on the stomach wall. Think of it like a gentle liquid bandage that covers the irritated lining.
That sounds nice and simple. How do we make it?
It is pretty simple. You take 2 tablespoons of flaxseed, Add a good amount of water, about 500 to 700 milliliters, so roughly 2 to 3 cups.
Okay.
Then you boil this, and here's the slightly surprising part. You boil it for quite a while, 40 to 45 minutes. You'll see the seeds visibly burst open. That's what releases the gooey coating substance we want.
45 minutes. Okay. Then what?
Then you strain that liquid really well, get rid of the seeds, and keep the liquid warm, maybe in a thermos.
And how do you take it for the best effect?
The dosage is key. You drink just 2 warm sips, not gulps, just sips of this liquid every hour throughout the day.
Every hour.
Every hour. You do this consistently for 21 days. One important note, try to avoid drinking it immediately after a meal. Give it maybe 30 minutes or so.
Okay. Why hourly?
This routine ensures that the stomach lining is almost constantly protected by that coating. It gives the lining the time it needs to regenerate without being constantly aggravated by stomach acid.
That makes perfect sense, like constantly reapplying a protective layer. Okay, so that's for high or normal acidity. Now let's flip to the opposite problem. Low acidity. If your stomach isn't making enough acid, you need stimulation, right? Not coating.
Exactly. For low acidity, the recommendation is a ginger lemon chamomile infusion.
Okay, sounds interesting. How's that made?
You grate about half a teaspoon of fresh ginger, mix it with 1 teaspoon of dry chamomile flowers, maybe a small heap.
Right.
Then you add water, but not boiling, about 80 milliliters, so just over a quarter cup, heated to a mild 60 to 65 degrees Celsius, just warm.
Just warm water. Okay.
And you let this mixture steep for a good while, at least 2 hours. That long steeping time is really vital to extract the stimulating properties.
2 hours steep time. Got it. How do you drink this one?
Okay, just before you drink it, you add a quarter teaspoon of fresh lemon juice. The lemon provides that crucial bit of stimulation for digestion.
Oh, okay.
You divide the total mixture into 2 parts and drink those over the course of the day, specifically before your meals.
Before meals.
Yes. Now, there's a really critical note here. Pay close attention to how you feel. If adding that lemon juice makes your pain increase, stop using the lemon juice immediately.
Why is that?
It likely means you might have misjudged your acidity level, and maybe it wasn't low after all, so listen to your body on that one.
Good advice.
Oh.
Okay, moving to the most serious category we mentioned. Zero acidity or atrophic gastritis. What's the recommendation there? Something gentle, I imagine.
Very gentle. The go-to here is baked pumpkin. It's incredibly simple.
Baked pumpkin.
Yes. You just take about 100 grams, that's maybe half a cup or so, of fresh pumpkin, bake it until it's soft, then mash it into a smooth puree. You eat this puree twice a day. So 100 grams in the morning, 100 grams in the evening, something like that. That's 200 grams total daily. It's incredibly gentle and provides good nutrients for a severely damaged digestive system.
Simple and nourishing. Was there anything else recommended for low or zero acidity?
Yes. Natural apple cider vinegar. Consumed before meals, perhaps a teaspoon in a little water. But again, only if it's tolerated. Monitor closely for any discomfort.
Right. Always listen to your body. Okay, one more remedy. This one's for general healing, helping the lining regenerate regardless of the acid level.
That's right. This one uses fresh cabbage juice.
Cabbage juice. Interesting. How do you prepare that?
You take about 200 grams of fresh white cabbage, just regular white cabbage, blend it up, maybe with a tiny bit of water if needed, and then squeeze out the juice very thoroughly.
Okay, blend and squeeze.
Exactly. You divide that juice into 2 parts and drink them twice a day. Aim to do this for 21 days as well. Cabbage juice contains specific compounds, sometimes called vitamin U, that are known to actively promote the healing of mucous membranes.
Okay, but there was a really important warning with this one, wasn't there?
Absolutely critical. The juice must be extremely well strained. You want only the liquid, none of the fiber.
Why is that so important?
Because any little bits of fibrous residue left behind can actually increase irritation and cause significant discomfort, even pain. It would completely defeat the purpose of drinking it. So strain it through a fine sieve or cheesecloth.
Got it. Strain, strain, strain. Okay, these remedies address the ongoing healing, but what about those times when the pain just flares up suddenly, that acute pain? We need quick, safe relief, right? Especially without reaching for one of those pain pills that might have caused the problem in the first place.
Exactly. Quick, safe relief is key. The first method is very simple. Warm chamomile tea.
Chamomile again. How is this different from the infusion for low acid?
It's simpler and uses hotter water initially. Just steep 1 teaspoon of dry chamomile in about 200 milliliters, just under a cup, of hot water, around 90 degrees Celsius this time, for about 15 minutes. But, and this is crucial, you cannot drink it hot. You must let it cool down to a lukewarm temperature, around 40 to 45 degrees Celsius.
Lukewarm. Why?
Because lukewarm chamomile acts very quickly to soothe the spasm in the stomach muscles, which is often a major component of that acute pain. Drink about 100 to 200 milliliters of the lukewarm tea.
Warm chamomile, cool down. What's the second quick relief method?
The second involves applying heat externally, using a hot water bottle or a heating pad directly on the stomach area.
Does that really help?
It can bring surprisingly fast relief for many people by relaxing the tension in the stomach muscles, but there are very important safety rules.
Yeah, go away.
The temperature must not be too high. Don't exceed 50 to 60 degrees Celsius. You don't want to burn yourself. And don't leave it on for too long, no more than 10 to 15 minutes at a time.
10 to 15 minutes max.
Right. If the pain is genuinely related to gastritis spasm, you should feel a pretty rapid improvement with that gentle warmth.
Okay, so we have tools for soothing the lining long-term and quick relief for flare-ups. But you emphasized earlier, and the sources agree, that lasting health means tackling those root causes we discussed, the stress and the medications.
Precisely. You absolutely cannot bandage a wound effectively if it's constantly being reopened by underlying stress. It just won't heal properly.
Makes sense.
So the physical remedies are essential, but they must be paired with actively working to reduce that long-term worry and distress. It doesn't have to be complicated. Simple, consistent activities.
Like what?
Things like daily walking out in nature if possible. Gentle practices like yoga or Pilates. These activities actively help lower the stress hormones that we know thin the stomach lining.
Okay.
And our sources also strongly recommend looking into something called visceral therapy.
Visceral therapy, what's that?
It's a type of gentle hands-on therapy. It's specifically designed to physically relieve spasm in the stomach and other organs, help ensure those upper and lower digestive gates are working correctly, and crucially, improve the local blood flow right to the stomach lining. Better blood flow means much faster healing.
Interesting. So addressing the physical tension directly.
Exactly. It complements the stress reduction and the remedies beautifully.
Well, this has been an incredibly clarifying deep dive. It really turns some common ideas on their head, doesn't it? Revealing how often this stomach trouble is rooted not just in a bug, but really in that chronic emotional distress and the cumulative damage from common everyday medications like NSAIDs.
That really seems to be the core message.
And the key takeaway for genuine lasting relief seems to be confronting those root issues, not just endlessly treating the symptoms.
Absolutely. So if you are out there listening and you're struggling with chronic stomach pain, we really encourage you to critically think about two specific things in your life. First, how are you genuinely managing long-term unresolved feelings? Are they being addressed? And second, what medications are you taking regularly? Even things that seem harmless. Could they be inadvertently leaving those tracks of damage on your protective lining?
It requires some honest self-reflection, doesn't it?
It does.
Okay, so we'll leave you with this provocative thought today, a kind of core philosophy that really came through from the sources we looked at. It's this: medications alone will likely never make you truly healthy. Only changing your way of life, addressing that underlying emotional distress, taking care of your body, and truly supporting the foundational health of your digestive system only that can lead to lasting wellness.
A powerful reminder.
Indeed. Until next time, keep digging deeper.